Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the English Daily Book Summary YouTube channel. In order to not stop learning, listen to an English book summary every day for free.
Ken Blanchard, Cynthia Olmstead, Martha Lawrence. Trust works. 4 keys to building lasting relationships. Trust is the foundation beneath every meaningful relationship in your life, whether at home, at work, or within your community. At the same time, it's incredibly fragile. Trust takes time and intention to build, but can crumble in an instant. You've likely experienced the frustration of losing trust or the challenge of rebuilding it once damaged. Because each person views trust differently, misunderstandings and disappointments happen easily. So how do you create lasting trust that everyone recognizes and values? The key is learning the ABCDs of trust building. That is, able, believable, connected, and dependable. This framework provides a shared language outlining the simple, clear behaviors that signal trustworthiness and make your interactions stronger, smoother, and more successful. Ready to level up your relationships? Let's jump in. A is for able. There's a measure of trust that grows naturally when others recognize your skills, consistency, and reliability. But being truly competent isn't just about getting tasks done. It's about proving through your actions that others can rely on you. Think of someone you deeply trust. Chances are that trust is linked to their consistency, the way they reliably show up and follow through, no matter the circumstances. Earning trust means steering clear of habits that make people doubt you. Consider that coworker who always misses deadlines or turns in rushed, sloppy work. Even if they mean well, that pattern makes it hard to rely on them. On the flip side, when you consistently show up and deliver quality results, people know they can count on you, and that's what builds real trust. Being competent isn't just about knowing your stuff. It's also about facing challenges head-on. Dodging problems or pushing them onto someone else makes it seem like you can't or won't handle them yourself. But when you step up, take action, and find solutions, you send a clear message. I've got this. You can count on me. Still, competence doesn't end at solving immediate problems. It also requires constantly growing and improving. If your skills stagnate, trust can slip. That's why committing to learning, whether it's through training, feedback, or new experiences, shows you're serious about staying sharp and capable. Consistency is just as important. It's easy to think that a few flashes of brilliance can make up for being unreliable, but in reality, steady dependability matters more. People want to know they can count on you today, tomorrow, and beyond. Delivering high-quality work consistently is what truly builds trust. And let's be real, sometimes trust wavers simply because you're not yet an expert in a certain area. The key here isn't to fake it or cover up weaknesses. Instead, be upfront about what you don't know and actively work to bridge the gap. When people see you're committed to learning and growing, their trust in you doesn't just stay intact, it strengthens. At its core, real competence comes from effort and determination. If you're just coasting or settling for good enough, it sends the message that you're not fully invested. And trust is tough to build without genuine commitment. But when you consistently push yourself to do your best, it's clear to everyone that your performance matters to you. Take a moment to ask yourself, how often do I actually show up in ways that build trust? Then go one step further and ask for honest feedback from someone who's familiar with your work. Their perspective can help you pinpoint what's going well, what needs tweaking, and what new habits might make the biggest impact. By taking action on these insights, you're already on the path to strengthening the trust others place in you. B is for believable. Picture someone whose words you believe without a second thought. What makes them so convincing? Chances are it's their honesty and integrity that set them apart. To cultivate true believability, start by recognizing behaviors that quietly erode it. For example, breaking someone's confidence, even unintentionally, is a quick way to lose trust. You might recall how hurtful it feels to learn someone shared a private conversation without your permission. Protecting sensitive information shows others you're reliable, respectful, and worthy of their trust. Another aspect of being believable is having the courage to acknowledge mistakes openly. Nobody enjoys admitting they're wrong, but everyone respects someone who does. When you own up to your errors, you demonstrate humility, honesty, and authenticity. People naturally feel safer trusting those with the capacity to recognize their imperfections. Honesty itself is a cornerstone of believability. Even seemingly harmless exaggerations or white lies can chip away at trust over time. Being consistently truthful, especially when being dishonest, offers the easiest way out. Lets others see you as someone with unwavering integrity. When people know you mean exactly what you say, their trust can't help but deepen. Similarly, avoid gossip or negative talk behind people's backs to reinforce your credibility. Engaging in conversations that tear others down can quickly undermine any trust you've carefully built. Instead, try to speak respectfully and openly, even when tackling tough or nuanced topics. It's not always easy, but it'll strengthen your integrity and deepen your connections. Sincerity matters too. People quickly sense when someone is being fake, superficial, or insincere. Authenticity creates trust because it signals that your intentions are genuine and clear. When others sense sincerity in your interactions, they're more likely to let down their guard and interact with you from a place of wholeheartedness. Alongside sincerity, showing acceptance rather than judgment is essential. Harsh criticism or quick judgments create barriers, repelling those around you. By demonstrating openness, patience, and a willingness to understand, you create an environment where trust can thrive. Others will then feel comfortable being themselves, knowing they won't be subject to blaming or shaming. How believable do you think you are in your key relationships or roles? Again, start by reflecting on yourself. How often do you actually show up with these trust-building behaviors? Then, take it a step further and ask someone you trust for their assessment. Let them know your goal is to grow and strengthen your reliability so they feel safe giving you real input. Use their insights to identify what to keep doing, what to improve, and what to let go of. When you pair this with the steps from your ABLE assessment, you'll be well on your way to becoming someone people trust without hesitation. C is for connected. Ever noticed how trust blossoms when someone truly sees, hears, and values you? That feeling of connection, the kind that makes interactions feel authentic and relationships meaningful, isn't accidental. It's intentionally cultivated by people who care about others. Building strong connections begins with listening. Poor listeners often interrupt, look away, or seem distracted. We've all felt that frustration when someone's attention drifts, or they turn every conversation back to themselves. Now picture someone who makes eye contact, asks thoughtful questions, and responds to what you're saying. That kind of attentive listening sends a powerful message. You matter. And in today's distracted world, that's a message that goes a long way. Trust can also take a hit when people feel their efforts go unnoticed. When someone puts time and energy into a task and doesn't receive any acknowledgement, it can lead to frustration and a sense of disconnection. A simple thank you can go a long way in reassuring them that their contributions matter. Regularly recognizing others for their efforts is one of those small actions that provides a huge payoff. Another way to strengthen trust is by showing real interest in others. Trust tends to fade when interactions feel shallow or forced. But when you take the time to learn about someone's hobbies, dreams, or struggles, you build an emotional connection that extends beyond just the surface level of your relationship. Building lasting connections isn't just about understanding others. It's also about being open yourself. Sharing bits of your life, your goals, and even the challenges you're facing invites others to connect on a deeper level. Being vulnerable shows your authenticity, and that's how trust and closeness grow. How you collaborate also plays a huge role in how connected you feel to others. If you're difficult to work with, maybe you're stubborn or dismissive, it'll quickly chip away at trust. On the other hand, when you engage respectfully, stay flexible, and prioritize teamwork, you create an environment where trust naturally flourishes. It shows that you care more about the collective success than personal glory. And don't forget about the power of asking for input. Seeking others' opinions shows openness, humility, and respect. It reminds everyone that their ideas matter, and it's a powerful way to deepen connections. After all, when we combine our wisdom, We always come up with better solutions than we could alone. Pause to reflect on your own relationships. How often do you show these behaviors? Next, consider asking someone who knows you well if they'd feel comfortable sharing their honest thoughts about how connected you are with others. Use their feedback to identify which behaviors you should start, stop, or continue, and be sure to thank them for helping you gain perspective. It shows you appreciate their input. Finally, take a moment to acknowledge yourself for committing to this work. Building trust is tough, but by embracing the process, you're taking the steps toward becoming someone others can truly rely on. D is for dependable. Is there someone in your life who always keeps their promises? A person who's always on time, organized, and reliable? How does that make you feel? Probably confident, right? That sense of trust comes from their dependability, which is one of the simplest but most powerful ways to earn lasting trust. But here's the thing, becoming genuinely dependable requires more than just good intentions. Take, for example, repeatedly failing to follow through on commitments, big or small. Every time you don't deliver, it chips away at the trust others have in you. On the flip side, keeping your word, no matter how small the promise, reinforces the belief that you can be counted on. Punctuality is just as important. Even if you're only a few minutes late, it sends a subtle message that your time matters more than others. But when you consistently show up on time, you're essentially saying you respect others' time and are reliable. It's these small, consistent actions that build trust over time. Dependability also means being responsive. When messages or requests go unanswered, trust can start to fade quickly. You don't need to drop everything to respond immediately, but acknowledging requests promptly shows that you respect the other person's time and needs. Being organized plays a big role too. If you're always missing deadlines, forgetting important details, or losing documents, people will start to question your reliability. You don't have to be hyper-organized, but try to build solid habits around managing tasks and keep your schedule in check to signal you're in control. Following up is also key. You've probably worked with someone who promises updates but never checks back in. Over time, that lack of follow-up erodes their credibility. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just making sure to give others clear, concise updates shows you're on top of things and can be counted on. Of course, consistency is crucial here too. If your behavior is erratic or unpredictable, people will struggle to trust you. On the other hand, steady, reliable actions let others know exactly what they can expect from you. Consistency builds a foundation of trust, reassuring your peers that your dependability isn't temporary. It's part of who you are. The time has come to look inward. How dependable are you in your most important roles or relationships? As with the previous reflections, start with this self-assessment before seeking out someone to evaluate your dependability from their perspective. From there, identify the behaviors you'd like to keep, change, or start practicing. With this feedback, along with insights from the earlier self-assessments and peer reviews, you'll have a solid plan for building even more trust in the relationships that matter most. In this Blink to Trust Works by Ken Blanchard, Cynthia Olmstead, and Martha Lawrence, you've learned that trust is the essential ingredient behind every thriving relationship, effective team, or successful collaboration. You can intentionally build trust every day by drawing on your ABCDs, being able, believable, connected, and dependable. That means consistently demonstrating competence, acting with integrity, genuinely connecting with those around you, and reliably keeping your commitments. Each small action, from following through on your promises to showing empathy, helps nurture a sense of security and confidence in others. And remember, even if trust has been damaged or lost, you can always rebuild it with consistent, thoughtful effort. Okay, that's it for this Blink. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please take the time to leave us a rating. We always appreciate your feedback. See you soon.